My name is Elena, and this is the story of how I lost myself and slowly found my way back. I live in a quiet seaside town called Willow Bay, just a couple of hours from New York City. Life here moves gently. The streets are calm, the cafes are cozy, and the sound waves is a constant companion. I am 29-year old and I work as a receptionist at a small boutique hotel near the beach. Life was not exciting, but it was peaceful. I had a modest apartment, a few close friends, and a routine that gave me comfort. After a string of failed relationships, I told myself I was better off alone. I was not searching for love anymore. I would locked that door quietly in my heart, but life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. His name was Lucas. Lucas checked into the hotel for a business trip. He looked different from our usual guest, soft spoken, polite, with tired eyes that seemed to carry stories. When I handed him his room key, he thanked me with a kind smile that felt unusually sincere. I noticed the way he looked at me, gentle, not intrusive. I smiled back without even meaning to. The next morning, he came down and asked for a local recommendations. I told him where to get the best coffee, where the beach was the quietest, and which seafood place the local loved. He listened, really listened, and that alone made an impression. Most people don't. Lucas stayed for 2 weeks. Every evening after his work was done, he would come to the lobby and we would talk. Sometimes we would walk along the beach or sit by the old lighthouse just talking about life, books, dreams. He shared the pressure of his job in the city, and I told him about my peaceful, simple life. With him, I felt safe, seen. One night, as we walked by the shoreline under a sky full of stars, he said softly, "Being with you feels like peace." Those words settled deep inside me. I think I began falling for him right then. When his trip ended, he left Willow Bay, but we kept in touch. Every day brought messages, every night phone calls filled with laughter and longing. A month later, he came back, not to the hotel, but to a small rental cottage near the harbor. He invited me over. We cooked dinner together, played music, danced barefoot in the kitchen. It felt easy, familiar, as if we would know each other forever. But everything changed one quiet evening. We were sitting on the couch, sipping tea, when he turned to me, a serious look on his face. "Elena," he said, "I need to tell you something." My heart started to race. "I am married," he said, looking down. "I have 2 children." The world stopped. My hand went cold. I could not speak. "I did not plan this," he added. "My marriage has not been good for a long time. We live in the same house, but it is not love anymore. I stay for the children." I stood and walked outside. The ocean breeze was cold on my face, but my thoughts were on fire. He followed me out and said, "I understand if you never want to see me again." I did not respond. I just walked home, the sound of waves echoing the confusion in my heart. That night I did not sleep. Questions haunted me. Why did not he tell me sooner? Why did this happen to me? But I also remembered the way he looked at me, the comfort of his voice, the gentleness of his presence. I was torn between anger and yearning. The next morning, he messaged me, "I'm sorry, but I miss you." I did not reply, but I could not stop thinking about him either. A week later, we met near the beach. I told him I felt betrayed, hurt, used. He did not deny anything. I care about you, was all he said, and I stayed. Yes, I became the other woman. Yes, I knew people would say it was a mistake, but in that moment, I just wanted to believe that maybe, just maybe, this was temporary. That one day he would leave his wife and choose me. We continued in secret. He visited Willow Bay once or twice a month, staying in that little cottage. I went there after work. We talked, cooked, watched old movies. It felt real, but it was never public. No dates, no pictures, no hand holding in the sunlight. Only hidden evenings, soft words, and silent goodbyes. He made me feel special. Yes, he remembered the books I loved, brought my favorite snacks, laughed at my jokes. He made me feel loved, but slowly, something inside me began to change. I stopped smiling like I used to. I rearranged my life around his visits. I said no to friends. I waited by my phone, hoping for his messages. My world became small, just him and silence. One night I stood by the ocean and asked myself, is this love? Or am I just afraid to be alone? Still, I stayed, hoping, waiting. Then one day I realized I was tired, tired of waiting, the hiding, the heartbreak. One evening when Lucas came over, I was quiet. What's wrong? He asked. I don't know if I can keep doing this, I replied. He looked surprised. Why now? Because I'm not living my life. I'm just living in your shadow. I wait for your visits, your calls, your love, but I'm always waiting. I want more. I need more. I love you, he said. Then why don't you choose me? I asked. He looked away. It is not that easy. I have a family. And then I asked the questions I would never dare to ask before. What am I to you? Just a secret? He did not answer. That night, after he left, I did not cry for the same reason. I cried because I had finally seen the truth. He would never leave. Not for me, not for anyone. The next morning, I stood by the sea. The wind was soft, the waves steady, and for the first time in a long time, I was not waiting for a message. I was just standing there with myself, and that was enough. The following months were hard. I missed him. I missed the comfort, the warmth. But slowly, I started rebuilding. My friend Mara, who had known everything, stood by me. You deserve to be someone's first choice, Elena, she said, not a secret in the dark. Her words stayed with me. I began to read again. I returned to my long walks. Dinners with friends, laughing over coffee. I enrolled in a writing class at the local community center. It felt small, but it was mine. One evening after class, I walked into a bookstore. That's where I met James. He smiled at me, said he would see me in class. We talked briefly, books, writing, the weather. It was not magical. It was not dramatic. It was easy. We began to meet after class, sometimes for coffee, sometimes just a walk. He did not ask about my past. He just listened gently. One evening, as we sat by the sea, I told him the truth. I was in love with someone who was married. I waited for him. I was always second. I did not want that kind of love again. He nodded, looked at me, and said, Thank you for telling me. I think you are incredibly brave, and you deserve better. That night, I felt something I had not felt in a long time. peace. James and I did not rush. He never pressured me. He never tried to fix me. He just stood beside me, quiet, steady, real, and slowly I found myself again. One day I looked in the mirror and smiled. I saw Elena, not the woman who waited in the shadow, but the one who stood in the light, strong, whole, free. Now, when I think of love, I think of gems, of quiet conversations, soft spaces, soft laughter, love that does not hide, love that feels like coming home. If you ask me whether it was all worth it, I would say yes, because through the heartbreak, I found the most important thing of all, myself. And in finding myself, I finally found the kind of love I truly deserve.